welcome folks. We'll be getting started in just a minute or so. Can go head over to our giveaway page while you wait. Hope everyone's having a lovely weekend. Alright, looks like it's 1 o'clock, so it's time to get started. Welcome again, folks. Black 6 from BZPower here, back for another live build. Today we're heading to a galaxy far, far away with 75318, the child from Star Wars The Mandalorian. Everyone's favorite, not Baby Yoda. Maybe a clone of Yoda, although I think the second season kind of put that theory to rest, but who knows. Anyway, you can see this set contains 1,073 pieces, retails for $80. This one comes from my own collection, so no thanks to LEGO, although we do thank them for making such awesome sets like this. Yeah, so it's quite a thick box. Thicker than I would have expected. It's definitely got some heft to it. And on the back, you can see there are a few different posability features to help give the child all those cute expressions that we have come to love on the show. You can see the ears adjust, the head moves, the hands are slightly posable, and that it is 7.5 inches tall. I almost read that as 75 for a second. I'm like, that can't be right. So yeah, 7.5 inches tall and 8.5 inches wide. So decent size. Probably about the same size as like a Dio or BB-8. A little smaller than the prequel version of Yoda that came out recently, a year or two ago. So yeah, I think this was pretty much a foregone conclusion that LEGO was going to make this set as soon as we saw how adorable the child was in The Mandalorian. Yeah, it's definitely nice when they add some features like that. Alright, so let's open this up. Oh, I got my knife ready to cut the tape, but there is no tape. This has got punch tabs on it. That's very unusual for a large box like this. For people who like to save and collect the boxes, it's probably not a big thing that I'm a fan of, but I usually don't collect or save boxes, so I don't really care too much. For some of the ideas sets, like some of those more premium boxes, I will hang on to them, but for most things I do not. Alright, so we've got our bags. Looks like one bag per number. We've got 8. Obviously lots of sand green and dark tan. Some of the bags seem to be like overly full, so it shouldn't be too lengthy of a build. Only one sticker, so that's pretty awesome, just for the display plaque thing. So Star Wars a child, homeworld unknown, species unknown, age 50, height 0.337 meters, primary associate The Mandalorian, favorite toy the Razor Crest shifter knob. Rest in peace, Razor Crest. Then we've got our instruction, nicely bound. Got the same box art as the cover there. And yeah, so I guess we'll open it up and get going. Definitely nice there's only one sticker, but I guess that kind of makes sense. Although I suppose like the eyes or something could have had stickers, but they do not. Hey there, Pohatron. So it looks like we're starting out with a Technic heavy frame. Alright. Got everything ready. Oh, gotta get rid of that brick separator. Still have not emptied my Mug-O brick separators. Where's a good spot? There we go. Connect it. Alright, has not exploded yet. Alright, so we've got to start out with the minifig scale version of Grogu. So he's got a rubbery head. So you can see the ears can bend a little bit. He uses the baby fig body, obviously with some new printing and colors on there. So I think it's the same version that we got in the Razor Crest set. So nothing too new there, but kind of nice that we start out with that. All right, let's go ahead and get our picture-in-picture ready here. Turn that on. Yeah, I definitely think that's a nice change that they kind of incorporated over time. Like even with some of the UCS sets now, they'll have some minifigures in there to go on the display base, just to like kind of add, just like a little added feature. So how is everyone's weekend going? Did anyone watch the Lego Con event yesterday? I've seen some interesting reactions online and on the Lego Ambassador Network. So I'm curious if anyone here watched that, and if so, what they thought. As I mentioned when we posted the summary yesterday, I did not watch it. So, you know, everything I've seen has been all secondhand, but when I like saw some of the teasers and stuff for it, it really did not seem like it was something that interested me too much, other than maybe the Star Wars reveals, which, you know, turned out to not necessarily be something that was new if you really follow Lego news closely. So don't not too upset that I missed it. For UCS sets, would I rather have minifigs or microfigs? I think I'm fine with the minifigs, right? Obviously they're not, neither of them are going to be like to scale with the set. So I'm not too worried about the scale factor. I think it just makes a nice display piece. Like, you know, the Batwing we built most recently, you know, it comes with those minifigs that kind of help root it within the, you know, the content that it comes from. And I think that's not a bad thing to have. Yeah, I don't think there was really anything too exciting. It was definitely targeted more at kids, right? Like when like I said, when I looked at the promotional stuff that they shared, there's like Minecraft stuff and some other things that seemed like they were kind of oriented at like, you know, STEAM education, which I think is like fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it's like, you know, I am well past the age of where I'm a target for STEAM education stuff. So, you know, it's just not something for me. And based on a lot of the feedback I'm seeing, that was pretty much it. We were talking actually on the BZPower Discord yesterday. You know, one of the main reveals was 3 upcoming, I think it was 3, yeah, 3 upcoming LEGO Star Wars sets based on the Mandalorian. But they had already kind of leaked in, I think it was a Japanese retail catalog. So that was like the only, I guess, kind of big news out of it. And if you'd already seen the Japanese retail catalog when those came out, then it was absolutely nothing new. But yeah, it's interesting that apparently Disney is renaming, or at least in some iterations for some toy versions, they're calling Boba Fett's Slave One spaceship now just Boba Fett's Starship, trying to get rid of that Slave One designation, which I certainly can understand. Disney is a very family-friendly company. They want to be very correct and you know, don't want to talk about slavery, especially if Boba Fett is kind of being portrayed as maybe if not a good guy, but at least like an anti-hero, as he was in the 2nd season of The Mandalorian. And he's got his upcoming TV show, The Book of Fett, coming up, you know, where he's the main character. So I can see why they want to get away from having his spaceship called the Slave One. You know, you can obviously cite so many things about what Disney has done in the past that would maybe be conflicting with that. You know, you can talk about Song of the South and this and that, but you know, yes, every company has probably done things in the past that, if you look back on it, it's not acceptable today. So clearly they're just trying to do the right thing now, and that I think is what is the important part. So that's what, you know, that's what I'm focusing on and taking away from that. Discussed on the Discord, I don't think it's ever referred to as the Slave One in any of the films. Maybe not even in The Mandalorian. I'm not sure if they ever actually call it the Slave One. So it's not really even that big of a deal, unless, you know, you just can't get over people changing things, which, hey, let's face it, Star Wars has been changed so many times over the years. And sometimes it's stupid things that don't make any sense to me. You know, I think they're stupid. Clearly they make sense to someone. But I think this is one that, you know, there's no reason to get upset about. Why was it called the Slave One in the first place? I have no idea when it was first referred to as the Slave One, if it was referred to that in the script of Empire Strikes Back or anything, or if it was just like in books and stuff that it first came to be known by that, but it's definitely been referred to as the Slave One for at least the past 25 years. You know, I'm not sure where that started from, but that is what it's been called. And hey, Boba Fett was a bad guy, right? I mean, you know, he was a bounty hunter, he was evil, so yeah, he's got an evil sounding ship name. But now they're trying to maybe change that a little bit with some of this newer stuff, and so they're kind of dialing back the blatant references to bad things. Yeah, I mean, like, definitely there has been slavery in Star Wars. I mean, hell, Anakin Skywalker was a slave. But I think, generally speaking, slavery has always been portrayed as a bad thing in Star Wars, because obviously it is a bad thing. You know, Anakin being a slave, Twi'leks being enslaved. There's several episodes of the Clone Wars that deal with slavery. Hell, on one of the recent episodes of the Bad Batch, they get into it as well. So yeah, definitely slavery is a thing in Star Wars, but it's always a very bad thing, right? I think that's the key there, is that they want to show that bad people have slaves and talk about slavery. And the second season of The Mandalorian, Boba Fett helps Din Djarin, right? The Mandalorian, the good guy. So if Boba Fett is helping the good guy, that means he's no longer just a bad, evil person. And so Disney clearly wants to walk back, having slavery related to him. All right, we've got a construction element. We've got a CCBS socket here, so that's kind of neat. I'm supposed to do 3 of these. Yeah, like, I have no idea where this idea of Boba Fett, you can make this, so we're talking about here, in this case, Boba Fett and Slave One, right? That is the subject. I'm sure there's also plenty of other situations you can call up, like, I mentioned with Disney over in the past. You could talk about Song of the South and stuff like that. I'm sure if you look at Marvel, there's plenty of instances where they have done questionable stuff. Punisher and all sorts of other superheroes that probably have some questionable things, but we'll see what Disney decides to do with those as time goes on. Right now, my focus, I guess, is just that, hey, they've talked about this change, they're making 2 Star Wars, so we'll have to see how it goes. And all right, so Voxmo making a lot of interesting points here. So, Disney being all about profit, yeah, no, they're definitely a company looking to make money, but I don't think like making money is going to 100% be opposed to being moral. I'm not saying Disney always does the right thing, because I'm sure there's plenty of times where they haven't. But I think that in this situation, it's kind of a little column A, a little column B, right? Yeah, they know that relating character to slavery is not a good thing, or a character that they're trying to commercialize, maybe. So they're trying to make him seem a little nicer around the edges, maybe. And is it a purely commercial grab, or is it coming from a place of good intentions? Who knows? I'm willing to be a little optimistic there. Maybe I'm being naive in that case. I'm sure there are financial motivations behind it. Like you said, Voxmo, it's Disney. Everything has financial motivations, but I'll keep an open mind at this point. And like I said, to me, I don't think it changes things much as far as Star Wars goes. Like I said, I don't think it's ever been referred to as the Slave One on screen, so it's like, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over tonight. We'll see, when the Book of Fett comes out, like, that will be a better barometer to me, and I'll make more judgments once I actually see something on screen. And then I'll decide. Did I skip a step here? Looks like I did. Oopsie. I mean, Disney owns Star Wars. If they want to turn Boba Fett into an anti-hero, technically they can do that. I mean, I think it's purely because they're doing something with him now. Definitely, they're trying to ease the rough edges of the character, but don't know why it's necessarily a bad thing to do. And you also kind of have to look at it as being Boba Fett at different periods in his life too, right? I mean, he was trapped in that Sarlacc pit for, I don't know, I forget how long the Mandalorian's supposed to be after Return of the Jedi offhand, but it's like over a decade or something, right? So, you know, he's had 10 years to reflect. Maybe he decided to change his ways with all that time. Although the fact that he seems to have potentially taken Jabba's throne, maybe it says differently. We'll have to wait and see. Alright, so this was the end of bag one. Like I said, lots of Technic, lots of pins with studs on them that we're going to then be putting the different sides of the child on. Yeah, maybe we'll find out what happened to Mr. Fett while he was in the Sarlacc when the Book of Fett comes out. I totally get why, you know, people dislike Disney. I'm not gonna, yeah, everyone gets to have their opinion on the matter. They're a huge mega corporation, for sure, with probably way too much money in their pockets. But I do think there are probably other companies that are worse than Disney. I don't think that any company out there is completely free of ever having done any wrongdoing. At least any large company. Maybe there's some small startups with like 20 people out there, or something like that. But I feel like once you get to a certain size or a certain length of time, right? Like, yeah, you can look back and there's going to be skeletons in that closet. Ooh, excuse me. Starting to do some texturing here. I'll show on the main camera. So there's some stacked plates at different angles and stuff. Uh-oh. So Pop-Tart has been sleeping on my lap. It looks like she's waking up. Gonna come say hi to everyone, Pop-Tart? Yes, hello. Bless you. Can't just sit on the instructions there. You need to turn the page. Excuse me. There we go. Don't eat little Yoda there. Little Grogu. Immediately she tries to find something she shouldn't do. Immediately you find the blind spot in the camera, huh? So they can't see you? There we go. Gonna help? Oh, that was a messy one. Eee. I just brought her to the vet yesterday for her booster shots, and they said she was fine, so I'm not sure what all the sneezing is about. If it's still like that tomorrow, I'll call them up again. Where are you going? She is not a very good jumper just yet, so she was looking like she was trying to find a way down, and I think she thought better of it. Oh yeah, those are crinkly, huh? Get away from the knives. Those are not for kitties. Hopefully that's it, Voximo, just some side effects from the boosters. But like I said, we'll see how she's feeling tomorrow and go from there. Oh, she found little baby Grogu. No, you can't eat that. So I did not name her Pop-Tart. That is the name the Humane Society local humane society gave her. So she's just a foster kitten. I'm just keeping an eye on her for a few weeks, and then she will go off to find her forever home. Can't eat the Lego. So I have no idea why, in particular, they named her Pop-Tart. Like I said, she's not a very good jumper or anything, so it's not even like that was the reason, like she was popping all over the place or something. Yeah, when she first came, she had an eye infection, an upper respiratory infection, so that was why they wanted a foster home for her so she could recover without getting any of the other cats in the shelter sick. So kind of just letting her recover here so she can get nice and healthy before she goes back. And they usually have a pretty quick adoption rate on kittens, so I have no doubt she'll find a great home. Where did you go, little one? Alright, if the stream goes dead, it's because of Pop-Tart. I was afraid to go try to get her, in case she pulls a wire out or something in her explorations. Getting close here to be done with bag 2. Once we are, we'll do our first giveaway for today. Oh, she found her way back. Couldn't stay away, huh? I'm gonna go ahead and put a that giveaway link before I forget. Nope, she found her way down. And she found her way to the microphone cable. Sorry about that, everyone. Oh, that hurt my ears too. Alright, so that is it for bag 2. So this now, try to attach this on the right side, in the right way. Just hold it upside down there. Attaches on all those Technic pins. And starting to see the front of Grogu's robe. I guess that's supposed to be kind of the seam here where it comes together. Alright, so oh, I thought I put the giveaway link up. I'm sorry. Alright, so giveaway link is up for reels now. I am going to go clean up these cat boogers that I've got on here. Hopefully they're not actually showing up on the stream, but I can see them. And I will be right back. We'll pick our first winner. Alright, so I am back. Open up bag number 3 and then we'll do our first giveaway. So got another minute or 2 in there. Sorry about that again. You know who to blame there. See, I'm not sure what the course of events was, but when I cleaned up the boogers, I noticed it looked like there was some blood in there, so I took a closer look at Pop-Tart. It looks like she cut her nose, I guess when she was like scratching at it or something. I'm not sure if she was scratching because of the sniffles or she scratched and cut herself and that is causing the sniffles. So have to keep an eye on that. But she seems fine. Alright. Turning off that link for now. And let's see who our first winner for today is going to be. Voximo, congrats! You've won a Stormtrooper Commander buildable figure. So we'll get in touch, confirm your address, although I'm pretty sure we've got that, and I'll get you that prize. Oh, nice. You don't actually have that one. That's pretty awesome. It's nice to get a new set in your collection. So what else has happened in the world of LEGO this week other than LEGO Con? There was the press release they put out about the new prototype LEGO brick made out of sustainably sourced recycled plastic. Oh, what are you doing, microphone? Hang on, let me mute it for a sec. I'll figure this out. Alright, hopefully that's better. Yeah, so what does it do is like bio, I guess not bio, just PET plastic, which is what they usually use to make like soda bottles and single-use water bottles out of. I say single-use, like the bottled water you'd get at like the grocery store or vending machine, versus buying a reusable water bottle that you refill many times. So definitely kind of interesting, kind of cool development. I think it's something good that LEGO is doing. We'll see how that continues down as they can work on doing more research there. One of the things that they mentioned like very briefly in the press release is that like one of the next steps is figuring out not how, but if the plastic can be colored. So if it can be dyed, and how well it holds that dye, to match existing LEGO colors. So that is definitely going to be interesting thing. We'll see if I'm guessing based on how the process has been going so far, either in like a year or two, we'll get another press release saying, hey, look, we did it, or hey, look, we have found another new material we can use. As much as they're like championing this sustainability initiative, they're not necessarily being the most transparent about it. So, if it fails, I don't expect them to come out and say, hey, oops, we failed. I expect them to just be quiet for a while they come up with something new and then tell us about that and how awesome it is. But hey, it's a step in the right direction. Apparently it passed a lot of the safety and playability tests as far as the clutch power and interlocking ability of the material, so that's good to see. So we'll see how it goes. Well, it seems like at least publicly, they're only focusing on one avenue. They're only focusing on this recycled PET route. But like I said, they have not, based on the press release, they've not determined whether or not they will be able to dye it to match existing LEGO bricks yet. So they may have to shift their focus once they conduct those tests, and just depending on the results of those tests. That's just my read on reading the press release. I don't have any other inside information or anything like that. I'm not a material scientist, so while I did study some stuff like that in college, it has been a long time since I did it. So I know there are obviously a lot of differences in these materials. There's a reason that they've been using ABS since the 50s and not PET. They mentioned there's like a patent pending process, an additive they add to the PET in order to give it the structural characteristics that they want to match what ABS currently gives them. So it's clearly not a simple process, right? There's a reason they've been using ABS all these years, and so it's not like they can just drop and switch to a different plastic on a whim kind of thing. And then, there's the fact that they do kind of have to look at different avenues, right? So that's why we had the plants from plants. The type of plastic is now escaping me what that was. For the plant materials, they are now using a sugarcane sourced derived plastic for. So that's like one type of plastic they use for some of the softer things, like the plant pieces, and then like transparent pieces use polycarbonate instead of that, or the ABS. So that's like yet another thing that they're going to have to replace as time goes on. And I, again, not being a materials scientist, I don't know how easy that will be, right? Because in order to get a material that meets those structural requirements of Lego bricks, but then is also, almost perfectly transparent and can then be dyed consistently, I'm sure that is not an easy feat. That's probably going to be the hardest one for them to replace, would be my guess. But I guess it's, maybe a little better in that transparent pieces, while they are common, they're not like the most common pieces in Lego sets. So, even if they've replaced the main bricks and the softer materials, then that's a good chunk of everything. All right, so this is going to be Grogu's back. So this is kind of like the start of the hood. You can see like the neckline here, and then kind of the hood here, and then I guess kind of flows down there. So that pops on. That's supposed to be another half stud higher, or am I good there? It's a little hard to tell. No, that looks good. All right, so looking a bit hollow here, but it's coming together. Clearly not going to be a huge model. We'll be able to sit nicely in your hand. On the bag floor. So bag 4 looks like we're making Grogu's left side here, but just the side, not the actual arms, or single arm. That will come later. What other topics we got going on in the Lego and Bionicle world lately? We had a new episode of the Bits and Bricks podcast came out this week. Finally, they released an episode focused on Bionicle. It's kind of focused on the theme at a high level, some of the origins of the theme, and some of the early games. So it's kind of pretty interesting. Talked to Christian Faber and Alistair Swinnerton, two of the kind of original creators of Bionicle. Obviously everyone knows Christian Faber. Hopefully most people know Alistair Swinnerton as well, but definitely not quite as popular as Faber. And I think both of them will actually be in the Bio Day streams that the community is planning for August. So that will be pretty fantastic. Get to hear more from them. I think the questions are still open there. I can fill in that Google form and ask some questions of those folks if you are so inclined. But yeah, it's cool, kind of cool to hear some of the origins. It was very high level, but there were still some interesting things. Just kind of one of the things that really kind of caught my attention was Alistair Swinnerton talking about how they looked to Terminator 2 and related that to the story they were trying to tell in Bionicle, where like you have these robots who have weapons, but now that, like in Terminator 2, spoiler alert for 30-plus-year-old movie, right? He's a good guy in Terminator 2. So like, how do you turn Arnold into a good guy in that film and he can't kill anyone now, right? So even though everyone knows, he carries the shotgun and stuff around, but now he can't actually use it to kill anyone, but he can use it to like destroy things around people that might cause them injury. Kind of like the Toa, I guess, don't actually. Oh, did I miss a piece right there? Looks like there should be a plate or something. Something's off. But yeah, how the Toa can't actually like attack the Rahi, but they can attack the environment and cause things to happen. So I thought that was interesting. And then, I don't know, it kind of has a weird BZPower coincidence related to it, in that, the font we use for the BZPower logo is called Terminator 2. And completely unrelated to all of that, but as I was listening to the podcast, I'm just like, that is such a random coincidence. But they also talked to some of the folks at Sapphire, which was the company that made the first Game Boy Advance game. And then we're working on the canceled original PC game, so we kind of got some behind the scenes on that. And then they talked to Vakiti, I think that's how you say it, who is one of the people who has helped bring back that PC game based on some source code that they managed to acquire, and now you can play it again, so it's pretty sweet. So kind of came full circle there. They didn't say if they're planning on doing more episodes about Bionicle. Obviously, there have been a lot of Bionicle video games over the years. They did talk a bit about the Matt Nui online game and some of the web content, but they didn't really get into that. Like, I feel like the Matt Nui online game on its own could be like a whole episode. Obviously, Bionicle Heroes could probably be a pretty big episode, since they've had episodes with TT Games before, the studio that made Bionicle Heroes, but that was like the second Lego video game they made. They made Lego Star Wars, and then they made Bionicle Heroes, and people are just, it kind of gets like swept under the rug because it's not Star Wars or Harry Potter or Indiana Jones or any of that. So I think it would be really interesting if they went back to the TT Games folks and talked to them about Bionicle Heroes. But you know, there's so many other games in between there too. You know, the Mask of Light game and the second Game Boy Advance game, all the different web games we got over the years. So definitely lots of things they could discuss in the future. So hopefully they come back to it at some point. Yeah, I still have my Game Boy Advance and both of those Game Boy Advance games around somewhere. I definitely do remember playing them a good bit back in the day. Alright, looks like we are just about done with bag 4. Actually turn on the giveaway link this time. Yeah, definitely never played the portable console version of Bionicle Heroes, but it was definitely a console game in my book that had like a DS port. Like I think I think there's a PC version, but at the very least the Xbox, PlayStation, and GameCube versions were all pretty close parity to each other. But the DS version, I'm sure, was quite a bit different. All right, there we go. Here's the left side. You can see we've got these 3 2x2 plates with the Technic pins. Gonna be where the arm attaches. So not a lot of posability, at least at the shoulder. We'll have to see. We know the hand has some posability. We'll have to see what other posability there is. And so this kind of slides in here. And then make sure you attach it on all those Technic pins with the studs. And then if you look at it from this side, it's looking pretty solid. Just don't look at it from that side. If I said Game Boy Advance, that was probably a misspeak. If there's a DS version, there probably was not a Game Boy Advance version of Bionicle Heroes. You know, there were 2 Game Boy Advance games. The second one was Matoran Adventures. The first, was it Quest for the Toa? Or was it originally Quest for the Toa, and then they renamed it, like Quest for Matanui or something like that. I forget exactly what that first one was. That's the one where you play as Takua, running around. Alright, let's go ahead, turn the giveaway link back off, pick our second winner. Alright, Woomy World, congratulations, you've won a Luke Skywalker buildable figure. I don't know if anyone noticed, but I did try to theme the prizes today around the Mandalorian a little bit. Maybe with some spoilers, but I feel like Season 2 of The Mandalorian has been out for a while. But they are all characters who appear in one form or another in The Mandalorian. There was a Game Boy Advance version of Bionicle Heroes. Huh. Yeah, I can't imagine how that one played. I don't know, Bionicle Heroes will always hold that special place in my heart because BZPower contributed to that with all the collectibles in there. So, you know, if you play that game and watch the credits, you'll see Black 6 in there, along with several other BZPower reference keepers from back in the day. So, while, yeah, it certainly isn't a very canonical game, it will always be my favorite. It was also the first Xbox 360 game that I got 100% on for all of the achievements. Probably, you know, in large part due to the fact that there weren't a lot of Xbox 360 games out at the time, and I was so infatuated by the fact that I got to contribute in some small way to it. So, but it'll always hold a special spot in my heart for that reason. May never be the best Bionicle game, but it'll always be my favorite. Well, today you learned there, Mavelock. Yeah, when you go to the trophy room, all those, that one wall that has like all the different collectibles, all the different masks and stuff. You know, the folks at TT Games were like, all right, we know there's all these collectibles in Bionicle, right? Like they knew that was a thing. They knew it was would be a perfect thing for the game to have all these unlocks. But they just, you know, didn't know where to start in coming up with all of them. And so yeah, they got in touch with us and we're like, yeah, we can do that. I'm sure if you went back to it now and tried that mini game, you could do it. I don't recall the game being too hard, at least once you upgraded all of the heroes. It definitely got a lot easier at that point. It's also kind of interesting, you know, like I said, it was like the second Lego game that TT Games made, and it was the most different Lego game they made for a long time, right? Like they made Lego Star Wars and then Bionicle Heroes, and then they just kind of went back to that Lego Star Wars formula and stuck with that for a long time. You know, gradually they evolved it. Having played a lot of those games on our Twitch Tuesday streams, you know, you can definitely see the changes they incorporated over the years, and some of the, you know, neat features that they added over time. But it's just kind of interesting how different from all those games Bionicle Heroes was. Doesn't make it better or worse, just different. And also, oddly enough, I've never asked, so I don't have the answer. I'm sure there's some sort of licensing thing. But you know, a lot of those Lego games you can get like on backwards compatibility, or at least buy digitally, at least on Xbox. But Bionicle Heroes you cannot. You can never buy that digitally. It's never like in the Xbox game store. You can still buy like Lego Star Wars and the original Lego Batman and Harry Potter and stuff all in the Xbox game store, but you can't buy Bionicle Heroes. As far as I'm aware, you can't buy that digitally anywhere. You need to have the disc for that, or else you're not playing it. So that's definitely an interesting one. Kind of adds to it being lost to time there. Got these 2x2 plates, the Technic pins again, spaced a bit differently than before for attaching the right arm. just look at the screenshots of the DS version and it brings back memories, yeah. Good old nostalgia. Yeah, the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit. I think is it just Lord of the Rings? They had a whole licensing fiasco. I think Hobbit might be back, but Lord of the Rings is still MIA on most digital platforms. And that one, I'm sure TT Games took some lessons from that, because Lord of the Rings was the first one with the voiceover, where they used actual voice tracks or voice clips from the films, and you know, I'm sure whatever agreement contract they signed, you know, had an expiration date or something on it. So eventually it got to a point where, oh, we don't have the rights to this anymore. We can't sell it. Alright, here is the right side. I'm gonna do a quick comparison to the left side here. You can see there are maybe some similarities, especially up at the top with these slopes around the neck. But other than that, it is quite different, so it's nice. Did not feel like I was building the same thing by any means there. It's always nice to have a nice asymmetric build. There we go. Looking pretty solid. The bottom, I got some different colors there, but you're not going to see that when it's done. Other than that, though, just you know, a little bit of gray and black, but the arms are going to cover that up. And then we've got the CCBS joint and a little bit of gray on the top. But again, the head will be covering that as well. So coming along nicely. Got 3 more bags to go. Oh, this one's actually got 2 inner bags, and we're starting to get some of our sand green colors here. Yes, I've made a vase. Yes, now I just got to get the Lego flower set, and I can stick the flowers in there. Alright, so it looks like bag 6 here, we are making both of the arms. So all this sand green is for the itty bitty Grogu hands. Oops, drop that piece. Can I reach it with a cat sitting on my lap? Aha! Success. See, lots of snot bricks. in here. I've got like these 1x2 bricks and then the 1x1 corner snot, and then got those 2x2 plates. So this is all going to get covered up. We do have that mixel joint. Not sure if that's going to be for like the elbow or one of the fingers, I'll have to say. Starting to get some texture going on here with the snot. You can see you got these two Technic bricks in here that I'm sure will allow us to attach this on here eventually. Give us a nice secure connection. We still got that mixel joint there to give us some of that posability we were seeing before. Alright, time to start working on our baby Grogu hand. I almost wish, looking at the mixel joints here, that the designers had not been able to figure out a way to hide the mixel joints, because then it meant we would have finally gotten one of them recolored. But for whatever reason, they seem to be so dead set against recoloring those things. It's like, nope, never gonna happen. Alright, so we've got a little Grogu thumb starting to get there. Alright, and there is our little Grogu hand. So it's got some clips here. But thanks to them being attached to these 1x1s that are rounded, you can kind of splay the fingers out. And then the thumb does not have a huge range of motion, unfortunately. But these two fingers do. They look pretty good as well. And that pops into there, which then pops onto there. So, got a little bit of range of motion there. Not a huge amount, but like enough for a display model kind of set. We'll definitely take a closer look at that when we finish. So kind of much like the two sides of the body, the two arms are very different builds here. It's almost like it's a study in asymmetry. Definitely some really interesting snot techniques in getting all of this shaping done. Like there's a little 1x2 bracket here that doesn't actually, nothing attaches to the studs, it just kind of goes right up to that mixel joint to keep there from being a gap, and just to add a little bit of shaping there. So it's really kind of interesting to see all these little techniques here and there coming into play. I guess the last 2 bags are going to be just the head. So that means after bag 7 we're going to have a partially completed disembodied Grogu head. So that'll be something to look forward to. Kind of all this is creating this sleeve shape, so it looks like it's draped around the child's hand with the hand coming out, which is what we're about to build. It looks like that hand is going to be the last thing here in bag 6, which means it's going to be time for another giveaway. Yes, we've not talked about the Bio Cup on the stream. Thank you for the reminder there, Mavlock. I think we're on to round 2 now. So the competition's definitely getting fierce. Some fantastic builds in round 1. What is your theme there, Mavlock, for this round? Alright, so here is the left arm. Again, you can see that shaping for the robe can kind of tilt the hand upside down so it can hold that little shifter knob that we'll have at some point. Seems like the finger posability is a little less here. I guess if you bend the fingers, then you can splay them out a bit. Then they don't go all the way back down, but I think that is fine. The biggest thing I'm not a fan of is you can see that light gray, dark gray mixel joint hiding in there. Really wish we could get that recolored. Alright, and that pops on. So definitely starting to look like a creature here with those hands. Ah, East Asia, interesting. Well, best of luck with that. Can't wait to see yours and all the other builds. Alright, Gonna open up bag 7 here, and then we'll pick our third winner for today. Yeah, they definitely come up with some interesting themes and styles that you guys have to build in. Always interested to see that. All right, giveaway link off. Giveaway winner. Oh, here we go, Mavelock, you're the winner. Won an Imperial Death Trooper. So congrats. Maybe the parts probably won't be there quite in time to help you with round 2 of the Bio Cup, but maybe round 3. Lots and lots of sand green now. Since we are working on the little Grogu head. Got some clips in here. Curious to see what those are going to attach to. If it's going to be like the eyes or the ears or what. I'll have to see what that ends up being. Alright, we've got our ball joint here for the head. We'll eventually attach this to the body. So getting that deep down the core of the build so it does not fall out later on. I got a lot more mixel joints coming in here. There's a 1x2 versions. We have 4 in this step alone. So yeah, surprising number of non-sand green colors making up the core of our head here. I guess this is probably like the front or the back. That'd be interesting if the back was built with, or the front of the face was built with the anti-studs facing out. So I'm guessing it's not going to be the case. It is looking like the head is going to be about the most symmetric thing in the entire build. So like, I think right now we're making possibly one of the cheeks. And so I'm building two of them. I think these 2x2 rounded bricks are like supposed to be the dimples, maybe? Attach these upside down. Yes. You're supposed to go the other way. I think I noticed that now. It's interesting The entire assembly here is like an odd number of studs wide, so we have to deal with like these center lines throughout this whole thing. All of the pains in the butt that they bring. Just as I say that, using some 1x3 jumpers, kind of adjusting that so now there's no center line right here. It'll be even studs in the middle. In case you're like, huh, where's Pop-Tart been this whole time? I haven't seen her recently. Let's see if we can get you a quick Pop-Tart cam shot. She is passed out. So I think these are not the dimples, these are going to be, I guess, kind of part of the eye ridge. I think these are going to be the eyes here. So you can kind of start seeing the face come together here. It's a little creepy just now. Not gonna argue there, but hopefully as you build this up, it'll start looking better. Alright, so there's kind of the eyebrow ridge coming into focus. With the nose ridge underneath here. Starting to see that face coming together. That oh so adorable face. Oh, so we actually have, I think these are our first printed parts in this entire model, possibly the only ones. So they are these boat bottom pieces. Sometimes like people call them boat studs. 2x2 inverted rounded plate. I'm not sure how well that's going to show up on there, but there is a little bit of dark brown printing around the edge to differentiate the iris from the pupil. It's very fine, and they do show in the instructions here. Right, they want you to be careful about how you orient the eyeballs with the rest of the eye there to make sure it doesn't look too creepy. So yeah, this is kind of one of those simple but effective techniques, right? 2 1x1 plates and 2 1x1 round, quarter round tiles create kind of that almond eyeball shape. So when you flip it around, it's kind of hard to see while I'm holding it because I cover up, but it gives it a little bit of that eyeball, like wider, not perfectly rounded eyeball shape. And then we put one of these round plates with a through hole on it so that we can attach it onto this jumper here. And because of all these 1x2 kind of wedge plates, it doesn't go in like perfectly level. There's like a little bit of an angle to it. Right, and I'll do the second one here. And yeah, when you're looking at it just right, you can really see that printing on the eyeball. And just enough to kind of give you that like idea. Like especially on camera, you can't really see that printing there. When you're looking at it in person, you can kind of just see it enough that it almost makes it look like it's just a shadow on there. But it's like, oh yeah, there's more than just the pupil here. There is some iris. Oh, there's the cute little nose. It's starting to come together here. We're gonna have to compare who's cuter, Grogu or Pop-Tart. Let's see if Pop-Tart wakes up by then. Got a hinge brick coming in here. Guessing that's going to be for the mouth. And so the mouth is built on a dark red plate here. So that you assemble it, and then when you open it, you can see a little bit of dark red in there. Kind of mimic, you know, an actual living thing's mouth. It's pretty cool little detail. I think that works very nicely. And part of the chin. That definitely looks like a face. It looks pretty adorable. I know a lot of people had a lot of things to say about the Yoda set. I definitely think they've done a much better job on Grogu here. I didn't have a lot of issues or as many issues with Yoda as some people did, but I do think that this is without a doubt better. Looks like I think we're finishing up bag 7 here with the ears. I am assuming they are symmetric and doing both at once. Got some tan coming in for the inside of the ears. Definitely starting to look rather ear-ish there. Flip them upside down. They do not want to stay. Covering up, and do this side first. Covering up the tin with some tiles. Does not perfectly cover it up, unfortunately. Actually, that was off by a stud, or half stud. So they kind of get away with having the mixel joints not be recolored here because they're hidden inside the structure. Instead we get a couple ears. Definitely giving it that gremlin look. But yeah, from the back, unfortunately, we do have that bit of tan exposed that I'm not a big fan of. Kind of almost would have rather have like this little bitty part here been sand green and have a sand green slope coming out the back there. I think that would have been a better compromise. I don't know, maybe Disney didn't see it that way. I think that is it for bag 7 in the home stretch. Got to put the finishing touches on our cute little head here, and then the little display plaque, and we'll be done. Got one more giveaway to do. I believe that Boba Fett is the last one we have left, I think. There's the display piece. There's our sticker for that, so we don't lose that. It looks like there's going to be 2 of these structures. Oops. You can rest right there. Oh, there we go. Look how cute that looks. Kind of interesting little structure here. We're going to see how these attach to the head in a minute. Not sure why they are attaching like they are. Seems like an odd connection type for what it is, but I suppose we'll find out. We'll take a closer look at how we go on. So yeah, we just built a couple of these little guys, and they actually attach to these clips here. Once they do, they're not going anywhere. I mean, definitely helps to give the back of the head a nice rounded shape. I guess because, I don't know, I feel like could have done something off of the studs here. Because it's not even like they're offset by half a stud from these studs here, so I'm not sure why we attach it like that. It works, it looks really good. Other than the fact that there's going to be a little bit of dark gray showing back there. That's going to be in the back, so you're not really going to be able to see that anyway. You know, Mayflock, if I suddenly see a Buttloaf Twitch account, I'm gonna get very suspicious very quickly. I think right now we're making the back of the head, again with a lot of snot bricks in here. That's your story, you're sticking to it, I'm sure. Alright, lots and lots of 1x2 curve slopes later. Back of a Grogu head coming together. Alright, so this attaches to the anti-studs back here. Just kind of wrap up the back of the head to give that a nice curve shape. Now, gotta build the top. It's almost a little creepy just having him look at you like this. Like I said, definitely a better job than they did with Yoda. I think we are done with the head. There we go. So the eyes don't really move. You might be able to adjust them like a teensy little bit. It's mainly the mouth and the ears that give you kind of that emotion. Plus you can like tilt the head, so you tilt it down a little bit, and suddenly those eyes, instead of like looking straight at you, they're kind of like the brows cover them, so it kind of looks a little sad. And then you tilt the head back up, and like open the mouth, and all of a sudden he's happy. Alright, let's pop that on. And the head does kind of go wiggle back and forth a little bit. Alright, gotta give him his little shifter knob. Using that like it was like the fish tank or the globe piece there. Snap together, a little stud coming out the bottom, so you can rest that on his hand and scooch those fingers up so you can hold it. Alright, and on to the base. It's going to start with the sticker here, because that's going to be the most pain in the butt part. So do that before we attach it to anything. Make sure I put it on the right way. That would suck if I put it on upside down. Make sure I don't get any bubbles in there. It looks like it came out quite well. There we go. All right, now for the rest of the stand. put up our giveaway link again for one last giveaway this stream. Stand on, put our little Grogu there, and that is it. Yeah, back in the instructions, still advertising Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, coming 2020. Oops, still not out yet. And some of the other sets that came out last year, and the inventory. All right. Let's go ahead, turn off our picture-in-picture, move that out of the way, and take a look at our finished model here. So definitely nice and solid. It's got a good bit of heft, but you can still easily hold it with one hand. It's not going to fall apart on you. It is a bit tricky to hold because, as I was talking about before, the head can like slide back and forth a little bit. So if it's like in the back position and you start leaning it forward, all of a sudden the head will come forward and it kind of like adjusts the balance. So you gotta kind of be aware that that might happen. Yeah, I think it's pretty freaking adorable here. Like I said, the ears, that's about as high up as they go. And that is about as far back as you can tilt his head so he can look up at you there. And if you want to tilt his head down, you got to kind of push it back a little bit, and you can do that and tilt the ears, and then he looks like he's a sad Grogu because you took away his shifter ball there. So that's kind of the head posability there, the mouth, ears, forward and backwards, and I mean yeah, you could. It doesn't have a huge amount of side to side tilting. You can see like a little bit here. But because of how built up the robe is around him, it's really not that much. It's mainly the ball joint is mainly for the tilting the head forward and backwards as it slides. Oh, you don't want to open the mouth all the way because that just looks creepy with that hinge brick in there. You just got to open a little bit. As far as the hands go, they don't have a huge amount of articulation. Like it's more of a kind of like twisting at the wrist, and then the fingers do move. And because they're on those 1x1 rounded plates with the bars, you can kind of splay them out a little bit or bring them in. And then the same amount of posability on this hand, right? If you don't want him holding the shifter ball, you can kind of move his hand to take a little more neutral position there. We'll put that back in. And then yeah, the stand is nothing too special. Gets the job done. Doesn't waste a lot of pieces doing it, which is always nice, but it's kind of adds to the theme. It's something you expect in a set like this. Whether it was BB-8 or Yoda, Dio, there's the probe droid now as well. So you do expect it to be here. Alright, so that is little baby Grogu. I think for $80, not a bad deal. What do you think, Pop-Tart? You're sleeping. I know you're not going to like me waking you up, but let's see. Who do you guys in chat think is cuter? Little Pop-Tart or Grogu? You are a sleepy kitty. I think Pop-Tart is withdrawing from the competition. She knows it's not a fair fight. She's got this one in the bag. All right. Let's go ahead and turn off that giveaway link. Gonna close down the giveaway form. I agree, Mavlock, yes. Definitely Pop-Tart. Alright, I got one more winner to pick. Just a quick talk about future streams. I think we may end up taking most of July off. Those of you in Bionolog know we just got our lug bulk order in, so I'm going to be spending a bunch of time working on coordinating the sorting of that, having people over to sort and things like that. And then we've got Brick Fair Virginia right around the corner afterwards, so I'll have a bunch to prepare for Brick Fair. So we may get one stream in later in the month, but I'm definitely not expecting any streams for at least the next 2 weeks. We're also waiting to get some sets from LEGO, so we'll see when those show up. That might also dictate when we do our next stream. We'll have to see what we get there. And our last winner for today, Ballum Nom 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 Nom, has won Boba Fett. So congrats, Ballum. We'll get you that prize. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. Just a little over 2 hours. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely a fun little set if you're into Star Wars, if you like The Mandalorian. Definitely a good set to think about picking up. Obviously there's 3 new Mandalorian sets coming out, plus there's the one with the Tusken Raiders that I have not built yet. But of the ones I have built, I'd say this one's probably right up there with my favorite. Probably either this one or the Brickheads would be my favorite there. The Razor Crest is cool, definitely looks cool, definitely has some unique minifigs on it, but I think these are more iconic. You know, when I think of Star Wars, The Mandalorian, I think of Grogu and the Mando himself more than the Razor Crest, so definitely not a bad set if you're a fan. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you when we do see you. We'll still be doing our Twitch Tuesday streams, so you will be able to see us playing some LEGO video games if you're interested in that. So until next time, there's going to be Black 6 from BZPower signing off. Have a great rest of your weekend, great rest of your week. Be safe out there. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys at Brick Fair in about a month. Bye, everyone.